Okay, good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to study the Eurasian descendants of Gomer, the ones, everyone with a RY chromosome. Okay, get this glare out of my eyes. No veil. Anyways, so yeah, the Eurasian descendants, European descendants, they're as far as India as well, of the Y chromosome descendants of Gomer, who is the descendant, of course, of Japheth, who is the descendant of Noah. So we're looking at individual, not only grandsons of Noah, which would be Gomer, we're looking at some of the great grandsons of Noah, who individually have their own Y haplogroup designation. So without too much trouble and fuss, let's see if we can go to the information here and see what's going on. Okay. This might be familiar to some already. Don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to use the peoples here, these little peoples. This is the movements of the people, but without the lines, hopefully it's not going to bog down as much with the too much information in the browser. But anyway, I don't know if you can see the little peoples there, but there they are. Oh, I have to bring this a little bit over here somehow, a little bit like that. There we go. Okay, so these little people start out in Europe. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. There's one little people right there. These are the descendants of Ashkenaz in the order of their ages, apparently. Now, there's the lines and the haplogroups are not going to be shown, but the people start appearing and they start their movements. What are we going through? 6,000 years, which is kind of interesting. And we have R1A already in Egypt. R1A, of course, is the descendants of Ashkenaz. So early on, we have R1A in the Mediterranean, and of course R1B, but you can see how they're spreading out just about everywhere in Europe, but mostly concentrated in Northern Europe. And here we go. Now they're appearing in India, and as far as the Silk Road in China, or even the Mongolian Road, whatever that is. And now they just start populating. Oh, they already started appearing in America too. So they're already in America 4,000 years ago, according to this, probably about half that, 2,000 years ago, maybe. If that, or maybe less, I don't know. But there they are in America, now in South America, in India, in just about everywhere, even Saudi Arabia, China, now South America, Caribbean. Trinidad must have been a stopping point for a lot of people, because a lot of people stop in Trinidad. But there we go, a lot more people in America from the descendants of Ashkenaz, and there it just keeps on piling up and filling out. Okay, if that will finish out, we'll move on to R1B in a minute, if it'll go ahead and finish. So I can't even type it in. Have to wait till it fills out. But anyways, yeah. These are the sons of Japheth, or descendants of Japheth, starting with the Western Europeans, descendants of Ashkenaz, which of course spread out in many places. Okay, so there we go. Filled out. Finally filled out. We have these brown lineages of peoples too, whatever that means. It's just another lineage, I guess. Okay, now hopefully that wasn't too bad. We'll just go. What we got going on here? There we go. Now we're going to go to the R1b. Now these are going to be the descendants of Riphath, otherwise known as the Mediterranean or Southern European people, which of course includes all the way to the British Isles, as is the R1a as well. But there's more R1b in Southern Europe and the British Isles than there is R1a. Even though it looks like a lot of R1a, there's more R1b. So we can get this thing to work here. I don't know. Anyways, hope this doesn't last too long. Of course, they're in Iceland, Greenland, and this tip of Africa is important too. R1a in Australia. Not very many R1a in Australia or South America. But the R1b might be different, but this point off the coast of Africa, there's islands in here. There's the Canary Island, there's Cabo Verde, otherwise known as Cabo Verde, Cabo Verde, as the Portuguese would say, something like that. Of course, I'm not Portuguese. I'm from South America, and I speak with an South American, Brazilian accent if I speak Portuguese. So there's the R1b. And as you can see, it's heavily concentrated in Western Europe and highly concentrated in America as well. So let's go ahead and put the people. Well, let's just go ahead and do this. Since it's taking a long time anyways, we'll just go ahead and put the haplogroups in there. Maybe. The haplogroup markers. It's a little bit annoying. You got too much stuff going on here. I don't know. I'm going to X this out, see what happens. There it is, R1b. Now we're going to add the peoples just for the fun of it. Add all the little peoples. As long as it's messing up, might as well give it a try. Then we're going to look at the R2 descendants of Togarmah. So these are the R1b descendants of Riphath in Southern Europe. It's interesting how each tribe moved into different areas and without interfering a whole lot with each other, apparently, even though they overlapped. But it is the genetic makeup of basically all Europeans. Even if you have another haplogroup or Y haplogroup, you're still autosomally European anyway, and whatever that might entail. But which is Eurasian, and that's Eurasians have the most in common, of course, with Neanderthals, more than the A in Africa. In fact, more than the Semitic populations too, because Neanderthals were Eurasian descendants. Don't know which Eurasian descendants they were, but they have, of course, if you're from Germany, you probably have some Neanderthal because that's where a lot of Neanderthal were found. That's where they were first found, I guess. So it makes sense that you have Neanderthal DNA because you're Eurasian, and if they're Eurasian, then you're going to have DNA in common with Neanderthal, but not the Semitic population and not the African population. Or Semitics over here. Not the African. Well, maybe I made a bad choice here, trying to put the peoples in, because this is highly populated. This is a huge database or whatever. So I can't really reverse it right now, but anyway, so we have them all the way up here in Northern Europe too. Population up there. You have them, of course, in North America, America. So if you're European, you're more than likely R1B. And if you're American, you might be R1B too, for that matter. And even the Egyptian kings, like King Tut, many of them were R1B. So R1B is highly influential. And if you add up all the R's, it's almost as large a population as all the O's, which are in the East, mostly in China and Korea and places. But the O is a huge population. It's the largest population. I don't know about after this pandemic, but it wasn't the largest population. But a close second was the descendants of Gomer, which are descendants of Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, the R1B being Riphath, and now this thing's getting all haywire. Well, let me just take a break, see what's going on here. If the thing will cooperate on me, and it might not. Might take a few minutes. Get loaded up this other page. That's the way it is. See what's going on here. Well, didn't go very well. But I guess you get the idea. But to the stage. Here we go. All right. I guess I'm back. I don't know. So, Brother Timothy says, good morning. He's at work listening. At work listening. There we go. All right, so let's try this again. We'll try to go with another browser window. I have to keep in mind I'm not sharing yet. Let me try to open the window and put this address in here. See if it'll come up. Okay. Looks like it's working. There we go. It's filling up. All right, so I'll do the present, share screen, entire screen, this entire screen. And go ahead and share, hide that, and we'll go here. Oh, there we are. We'll try the R2 now, see what happens with the R2. So we'll click on the R2, wait a few seconds. Hopefully. See what happens. Oh, that was an R2. All right. Now we'll hit the haplogroups of the R2. These are the descendants of Togarmah. So there's Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. See if I can add the peoples to make it crash again. There's all the peoples. All right. Now see if we can go back in time. Let me straighten this out first. Okay. Now we'll go back in time. If we can, there we go. We're going back in time. All right. It's working excellent now. So R2 of Togarmah never went north, never went west into Europe, at least not right away. But of course, they did spread out. They went to India. Oh, wow, they're all of a sudden in South America. That's interesting. Because they're right away, they're in the Mediterranean, so somehow they crossed over from the mainland of Africa, not off coast, not offshore of Africa. They ended up in what is now Mexico. Very early on, they're in Iceland and Australia, which is supposed to be 5,300 years ago. Now they're moving into China, into Europe, and that's about it. Okay, so those are the sons of Gomer. Ashkenaz R1A, Riphath R1B, and now this is Togarmah R2. And that's the only lineages that Gomer has, and that's the only amount of sons that Gomer had. So that pretty much fits perfectly, considering that everybody knows Gomer went into Europe, descendants of Gomer anyway. Everyone should know by now that Ashkenaz is in Northern Europe and Riphath is in Southern Europe, and now we have Togarmah out of the East, or what was the East. And they started, where they start? Let me see, started. Yeah. Close to India. They started out close to India, but right away, they're in the Mediterranean right away, in India right away, and all the way into America right away. This kind of matches the movements of descendants of the Medes or Madai as well, that had control over the Mediterranean except this lineage crosses through the mainland of North Africa and jumps into Europe. Jumps into the New World, North America, which is interesting because it's not exactly the Mediterranean route. It's over the mainland of Africa, and then from the mainland of Africa, it jumps to the New World. So maybe they got on ship with the Medes or something. I don't know. It's hard to say. But there we have it. I suppose we can try the R1B again. See if we can try the R1B again. This time I guess I'll stick with the peoples like I did the R1A and see if that'll work. That way we can follow the movements of the R1B. Pretty much. The only difference here will be that there's no lines connecting, so you can't really follow the lineages. You can just kind of see where they ended up. If it'll even work. But anyway, I guess that's about it. Hopefully I can switch over here. Oh, there it is. R1B. So we'll try to hit the people. See how that goes. See if that works. And of course you have R1B in Africa too, remember? There's an R1B in Africa early on and an R1B in the Great Lakes region early on. And apparently other places as well, probably Australia and everything too. So this will cooperate a little bit. We're only following the movement of the peoples. Give it a try, see if it'll load. Waiting. Okay. See, too much there. And a little bit. So the R1B is in Southern Europe, or Western Europe, basically. All of Western Europe. And, of course, populates North America, even places in South America, and Australia as well. And, of course, it's the R1B that's in the Native American population in the Great Lakes area. And it's a significant amount of R1B. It's not like, there was something in recent times. This goes way back in time to ancient times, probably surrounding the ancient copper mines in the Great Lakes region. That's where the R1B is, as well as Africa there, as well as in the center of Africa right there. It's taking a little bit of time, I can see. But maybe I'll just have to try it some other time or just kind of what we already have. So, because I'm not getting the StreamYard in. If I get the StreamYard, I'll just go ahead and go there and close it out, I guess. if I don't get peoples coming in on the map. Oh, I have a sip of coffee, maybe, while I'm waiting. Should have moved over while I had a chance. Because now maybe it's tripping over itself. So, oh, there it is. Let me see if I can go there. Oops. Okay, see if I can go there. I guess that's it for right now because I gotta probably do some other things here. So we'll just close that out, I guess. Okay, that's about it. Good half-hour stream on the descendants of Gomer, the R1A, the R1B, and the R2. So there we go. Okay, we'll just go ahead and call it quits right here for the time being. And maybe I'll have another presentation. I want to do the descendants of Ashkenaz. I want to see if I can follow the J1, the J2, the I1, and the I2, which are largely the descendants of Abraham. So maybe I'll do that next stream that I have. So God bless everybody and take care. And we'll see you soon, hopefully.